Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Message of Hope. And today I'm with Lee Vallely, and he's been a coach for 20 years, and now is a 3P coach living in Florida. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you. And you said that perfectly, Vallely. That's excellent.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I've been asking. And it's all of this having this three principle understanding or the inside out understanding. How does that help you navigate either the lockdown or this interesting time we're having, or just stress in general, no anxiety in general? So, how does that help you, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I mean it's so simple, and yet it's a complete and utter turnaround. I mean, as you said, I've been a coach for 20 years going on now, and yet I just didn't have this understanding. I complicated so many things in my own life. So of course, when I'm coaching others, I'm helping them to complicate their life. And of course, that's why the beauty of the three principles is that it simplifies everything. And what I love about this is that it shows you how life works, as opposed to showing you how to live your life. And that's a major, major difference, because before I was trying to figure out, I was one of those disciples of Tony Robbins. And if you know Tony Robbins, he's big in every way, right? And that's it. It was the NLP world. And we used to figure out, I used to plan my weeks every week and plan my days, even plan each hour. And I was so fixated on getting everything right. I read every book I possibly could, and constantly stressing. I mean, I even have to take a breath after telling you that, and that's how my life was. There I am trying to show people how not to be stressed. And now in hindsight, it was innocently.
All those tricks to manage your state.
Exactly, yeah. And I had to stand in my power and build this confidence and go forth, and all of these things I had to do. It took me like maybe 2 hours to get before I actually got to work on anything.
You're already exhausted.
Right. It's absolutely crazy. And then in terms of that, I had to meditate. But while I was meditating, I'm like, okay, let's do the meditation. Let's get this over with. And so, of course, the three principles, just the 2 hours that I used to spend in the morning, and I am not exaggerating, by the way, wow. The 2 hours that I used to spend in the morning went away, because I realized it's totally not necessary. And the idea of trying to fix myself constantly went away. Now, that doesn't mean to say I don't do any of these things. It's just that I realized that I love the idea of, you listen to your wisdom. And let's say you feel anxious about something, and you're going to. I mean, it's not, oh, you learn the three principles, hallelujah. It doesn't work that
still
way.
Happens, right? Yeah.
Right. It still happens. We've got a thing called shift happens.
Okay.
Because that's it. Shift happens, right? And other stuff happens. And so, like, when you listen to your wisdom might tell you, let's say you're anxious, and your wisdom tells you, well, go listen to some music. And you listen to some music, and then you start to calm down. Now, in the NLP world, which is neuro-linguistic programming, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. In that world, you would then work out what music to listen to, how long, and and have all these specific rules around what kind of music and how long you play it, and in what order. But that doesn't always work, because another time your wisdom might tell you, You know what, you need to read a book, or you know what, you need to go for a walk, or you know what, you need to just like go confront somebody. So that's why I say that the principles teaches you how life works as opposed to how to live your life. Your wisdom will guide you on that one. And I keep pointing here as like your heart. So a simple exercise, dare I say, in the principles work, but a simple exercise that I do, and again, it's not set in stone. Remember, no exercise is absolute. But for me, what I tend to do is I breathe in through my nose and I breathe into my heart. And then I just do that maybe 2-3 times. And then I may ask myself a question, but by the time I've done that, I've already got the answer. And that just sets me on my wisdom path. That if, let's say I'm anxious about, oh my gosh, by the way, I listen to the news for 5 minutes. I never listen to the news. And it just happened to be on. That's the worst, isn't it? It just happened to be on because I was looking for a program on the terrestrial, is it TV? And for 5 minutes, I was in horror. I was going to be attacked at any moment. I mean, my whole life was a disaster. I live in Florida and the hurricanes were coming. And, you know, and that was in 5 minutes. I dread to think what would have happened if I watched it for 30 minutes. So that's why I focus on this. And my wisdom tells me, yeah, that's it. Absolutely. My wisdom tells me, oh, I love that. The clarity. That's excellent. It tells me where to go. And that's exactly it. To start to allow those thinking, those thoughts to just relax and then fresh thinking comes through, and that fresh thinking comes from that wisdom. So it really is that. What's that?
You can use tricks now. Sometimes I will teach people like the heart math, the heart breathing, because if they're in the middle of panic attack or the hookups or whatever, it's not the time. It's only my thinking, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right?
They always say if you're bleeding to death, it's not a time to start working out what you want for dinner that afternoon.
Exactly. And then once you come down, so it's totally fine to use whatever tools.
Right. It is. It's absolutely fine as long as you realize that it's not in the tools.
Exactly.
And that was the misconception previously. Like I used to teach EFT, you know, the tapping.
Yeah, I know. I do my EFT and matrix printing. I do both.
Right. And sometimes that really works, you know, and sometimes it's a really good go-to. But what you're doing is you're distracting the bodily functions, if you like, of emotions and all that stress and strain in the body, while your mind just naturally calms down. I mean, I love that idea that if you get a cut, you look around for your environment. So that you could say in terms of COVID, yes, wear a mask. Yes, you know, keep a distance. But you don't have to do anything. You just make sure that the surroundings are okay. And then you let that cut heal. And it's the same with our anxiety. I always tell my clients that anxiety is fight or flight. So if you're attacked by a tiger, or hopefully not attacked, but you're running away from a tiger, right? Your body goes into fight or flight. And it's basically used for maybe 5 minutes. So you've got adrenaline going through your system for 5 minutes. So even if you change your thinking, even if you had perfect positive attitude at that moment and realized it's a complete illusion, you've still got the adrenaline going through your system. So this is where, when you understand where life works, you'll still feel the feelings. You'll still get caught into the matrix, so to speak, but you'll understand why. And so you won't, in the words of, is it Kathy? what was Kathy? Oh, I
Kathy
forgot.
Casey. Is that
Kathy Casey, that's it. Kathy Casey said a great one. She said, you're tripping about your tripping. So you're, you're thinking about your thinking. So you get all thinking, which is one thing. So you get that adrenaline rush. But then you start panicking about the panicking. So you're tripping about the tripping. And this is why people can be anxious for hours and hours. And it's exhausting. It's really unnecessary because your body is capable of taking care of business. And if necessary, your wisdom will tell you if there's something you need to deal with. And so when you understand that, you can allow those feelings to just start to dissipate. And that means that you can think clearly. There's a great old saying, I don't know where it came from, but it's tie up your camels. So that shows how long ago it is. Tie up your camels and trust in God. And you might not like the word God, but you can put that to anything else. Trust your wisdom, trust the higher power, trust the universe, whatever. But it's tie up your camels. So basically take care of business and trust in God. And that sort of relates to the serenity prayer. Have you heard of the serenity prayer?
Yes.
And again, it's like God or wisdom, whatever, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And to me, that sums it up, is that, yes, we might need to do something. That's okay. And having that wisdom to know the difference. Because a lot of people, I mean, my wife's father is so paranoid right now about this situation. And rather than going in there and saying, oh, it's in your thinking, oh, come on, that's not the way to do it. So we gently guide him into starting to understand, not about the situation, because he's got his own mind about the situation, but about how life works. And as a consequence, he's gradually, not quickly, but he's 90 years old, by the way, and he's gradually coming out of that craziness, as you said. We always have the snow globe ready, right? I like your clarity one, that's great. So he's gradually coming out of this and allowing himself to do what he needs to do.
And just be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because if you know what it is, if you know that you've worked out the day before and the next day you're aching, you know, oh man, that was a good workout. But if you don't know that you worked out the day before and that's why you're aching, you could be straight at the doctors thinking, oh my gosh, I've got something wrong with me. This is the beauty of the principles. We understand how life works, so we're not at the mercy of our circumstances. We're actually aware. It's more in the feeling. It's more in the feeling. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lee. And if people want to find you, where they can find you?
Well, I'm right here. I'm right.
Jump on the Zoom call.
Yeah. So I have a Facebook page and a website called Spread Happy. So it's www.spreadhappy.net. For obvious reasons, right? Spread Happy. And of course, my email address is simply lee.vallely, Vallely. I would say Valley with an extra L. Yahoo.com. There we go. I forgot that. And yeah, just see me on Facebook, Lee Vallely, and let's connect. It's beautiful to have this conversation, don't you think?
Well, thank you for your time, Lee.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Cheers.
Take care.